Democratic leader.
Ask unanimous consent the quorum be dispensed with.
Without objection.
Well, Madam President, the blast radius of the Republican shutdown grows even larger. This morning, tens of millions of Americans remain in limbo as this administration continues its crusade against SNAP. The Supreme Court has allowed the administration to withhold benefits as the case makes its way through the lower courts. For this administration to go all the way to the Supreme Court just to get out of having to pay SNAP benefits for hungry kids is pathological levels of vindictiveness. This crisis is in the administration's hands. It's all them, not anyone else. The minute the administration wanted to, it could find a fix for SNAP and ensure that people don't go hungry. But they're not choosing to act in what is really a nasty act of hostage-taking against the most vulnerable people in our society. Let me read what the Rhode Island judge said earlier this week about this case. Quote, "People have gone without for too long. Not making payments to them for even another day is simply unacceptable." Now, the administration could have said, okay, we'll have to pay it, but that wasn't good enough for them. Of course not. This administration, again, is viciously cruel and will use anybody for a hostage. But the chaos doesn't end with SNAP benefits. 39 days into the crisis, the FAA has ordered a 10% cut of flights at America's busiest airports, and Secretary Duffy warned it could soon reach 20%. As of this morning, over 1,000 flights have been canceled. Travelers are standing in line for hours just to get through security. Parents traveling to see their kids have had their plans turned upside down. People traveling for funerals, family reunions, business trips have all too often been met with chaos. But what's happening at America's airports right now is not an accident, it's a stunt. Look at the way the order was designed. 4% of flights canceled yesterday at 40 major airports, with plans to ramp up day to day until it hits 10% and maybe 20%. How much more transparently political can you get? This isn't about safety. It's about politics masquerading as safety. When air traffic controllers are working without pay, when the system is strained to its limit, the solution isn't to cancel flights. It's to pay the worker and open up the government, which the administration could do right now. As I understand it, under previous shutdowns, airports were never shut down. But again, the level that this administration, the level that they will go to, putting the American people in discomfort and worse, is unprecedented. Instead of negotiating with Democrats to lower costs, Republicans would rather let air traffic controllers go unpaid. Instead of negotiating with Democrats to reopen the government, they'd rather ground flights. Instead of negotiating with Democrats to help families, they're punishing travelers. Instead of governing, Republicans are playing games with people's livelihoods. And they have the ability to pay the air traffic controllers like they sent money, just as Trump sent money to Argentina, $20 billion. If they wanted to find the money, they could. Absolutely. So why? Why have Republicans dragged this shutdown on for so long? Because they don't want to lower health care costs. Because they seem happy to let 24 million Americans see their premiums double on average. Yesterday, we offered Republicans a perfectly reasonable compromise to get out of this horrible shutdown that they installed on the American people. We offered three things. We all vote to reopen the government. We all approve a one-time temporary extension of current ACA premium tax credits, and then after we reopen, we'll negotiate, as Republicans say they want, for longer-term fixes to ACA affordability.
Will the senator yield for a question?
No, only after I finish.
Okay.
I know many Republicans stormed out the gate to dismiss this offer, but that's a terrible mistake. Our offer is not a new policy. This is not negotiating in a shutdown. It's simply agreeing to maintain current funding levels. A one-year extension is something many Republicans themselves have said they want. It's something a great many Americans support. 55% of Trump supporters support it, after all. So it's alarming that Republicans even refuse to acknowledge we have an immediate crisis right now that needs fixing. Listen to the arguments Republicans have been making on the floor. Just listen. Republicans are making it clear as day that they are happy to let premiums skyrocket. Behind me is the consequence. Look at this across America in states red and blue. The black areas are districts that would increase subsidies, that subsidy costs would increase that insurance payments for people would increase 300%, dark blue 200 to 300, and the list goes on. Look how bad it is. Every single state's impacted, most of all Republican states. Look, if Republicans want to talk about long-term fixes to ACA affordability, Democrats are ready. We said so yesterday. But in the meantime, doing nothing is derelict because people will go bankrupt, people will lose insurance, people will get sicker. And that's what will happen if this Congress fails to act. Republicans must act. I yield to my colleague from Ohio.
Thank you to the Democrat leader for yielding to a question. Have you put forward a proposal that we can read that you referenced in your speech, what says a clean continuing resolution with the extension of the ACA Biden COVID credits?
Yes, as we spoke yesterday.
So there is
I will not be interrupted.
No, my question is there a proposal in writing that we can read?
There is a proposal that is very simple. First, you haven't put your proposed fix to the ACA, the new one, which Leader Thune has spoken about on the floor, so we can't give you a counter in writing. But it's very simple, because we have two sentences we would add to any proposal, which would extend the ACA benefits for 1 year. That's all, plain and simple. And the leader can put that in his proposal on opening up the government. So it doesn't need a vote. It can't be blocked by anybody. It's the right thing to do.
Would it still have no income caps, so people who make $1 million, $2, $3 million a year?
As we said, if he would have listened to my speech yesterday, once we pass the 1-year fix, so people right now aren't in difficulty, we would sit and negotiate that. The leader has said he won't negotiate before. We're willing to negotiate once the credits are extended, plain and simple. And we made that in our proposal yesterday.
So for 1 year, people making millions of dollars would still receive these COVID-era subsidies?
The bottom line is the senator from Ohio ignores that 99% of people, you want to hurt people making $10,000, $50,000, $90,000 and hold this up? We can fix what the gentleman said in a negotiation, but don't have people who are every day being hurt by paying thousands of dollars more that they can't afford. I know that the senator from Ohio cares about the billionaires. We care about average working people. I yield the floor.
So just to be clear, Ms. President.
Was recognized.
So just to be clear, what you heard from the minority leader was the following. I just want to recap it for those of you who might have missed. Number one, he acknowledged that the Democrats have actually not put forward a written proposal that people could look at. Number two, he acknowledged that his plan would be to allow millionaires, let me just say that clearly, people making millions of dollars would receive Biden-era COVID Obamacare subsidies. You heard that right. No income cap. I was going to ask him before he stormed out of the room, because evidently he doesn't want to hear any opposing views or actually engage in meaningful negotiation. He would have heard me ask the next question, Madam President, which is, would he continue $0 premiums, which we know for a fact have enormous levels of fraud? If he had stayed, I would have asked him a third question. Does he want these monies to go directly to insurance companies? Let me repeat that, Madam President, because I don't think the American people have been told the truth here. This money does not go to people on Obamacare. This is a check written from the federal government to the wealthiest insurance companies on the planet. He wants no income caps, millionaires getting COVID subsidies. He wants $0 premiums that are filled with fraud, and he wants to enrich insurance companies even more. And because he can't get that, here's the irony. There's federal workers, military, TSA, the clerks here that aren't receiving paychecks, that might get their health insurance canceled because we're not sending the premiums in. He's doing this to help people who have made millions of dollars already with this flawed healthcare system.